Hello again. This is the fifth and last in a series of videos giving a taste of what you can expect on a holiday in northern India, India's Golden Triangle. This was filmed in March of 2020, just as COVID-19 was spreading around the world. This video covers our visit to Jaipur. Jaipur is known as the Pink City. In 1876, the British Prince of Wales, who later became Edward VII, visited India, and that included Jaipur. All of the major buildings and all of the buildings in the main streets were painted a terracotta pink colour in honour of the Prince's visit. Now, the pink colour of the buildings is maintained and has become the trademark of the city. We arrived at our hotel, which looked a bit austere from the outside. By this time, the COVID threat in India was becoming all too real. We had our temperature taken as we entered the hotel, and this was the first time that we'd seen people with masks on, albeit most of them had them around their necks. How times have changed. This turned out to be another very nice hotel with excellent food, if you like curry, which we do. There was an exercise class going on outside of our room. It all looked very tiring. When you see an article about Jaipur, it's likely that it'll be accompanied by pictures of the Palace of the Winds. Built in 1799, this is a spectacular piece of architecture featuring 593 finely screened windows and balconies. Behind these windows, the ladies of the royal household could watch life going on in the city without being seen by the common people in the street. The city palace stands inside the old city. It's a complex of courtyards, gardens and buildings. The royal family of Rajasthan still live here. The Maharaja's flag flies from the top pavilion. There are two enormous silver vessels here, reputed to be the largest silver objects in the world. When the Maharaja visited London for the coronation of Edward VII in 1902, he took these with him, filled with water from the river Ganges. Behind the city palace lies Jantar Mantar. This is an astronomical observatory built in the 1730s. That's nearly 300 years ago. There are various measuring devices here, including the world's largest sundial. This is 27 metres high and can calculate the time within 2 seconds. There are 19 instruments in total, which are used for measuring time, predicting eclipses and tracking the location of major stars as the Earth orbits around the Sun. This is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Here are some typical street scenes in Jaipur. This is the milk market. The purchasers assess the quality of the milk by putting their hand in it. Not sure if they're still doing that after COVID arrived. This is brushwood for sale for building fires. Remember this for later in the video. In the hills outside of Jaipur stands the Amber Fort. This very impressive palace building overlooks Muata Lake, which is the main source of water for the palace. No sooner had we stepped off of the coach than Karen found herself being entertained by a cobra. There are 3 ways to get up to the Amber Fort. You can walk, you can go up in a jeep, which is what we did, or you can ride on one of these. Only joking. Here's a clue. A steady stream of elephants take visitors up to the palace. We were assured that the elephants worked short shifts and were regularly rotated. We did see signs during our trip though, asking people not to ride on elephants. palace is constructed of red sandstone and marble and is laid out on 4 levels, each with a courtyard. Here's a traditional sign. Here's a more modern one. Construction of the palace began in 1592 and work carried on over the following 150 years. Ganesh Gate, named after the Hindu god Lord Ganesh, is the entry into the private palaces of the Maharajas. Above this gate, the ladies of the royal family used to watch functions held in the courtyard below, through the latticed marble windows. One of the highlights is the Hall of Mirrors, the Sheesh Mahal. This is a stunning room covered with mirror mosaics designed to be particularly enchanting at night when the reflection of candlelight creates a kaleidoscopic effect across the mosaic surface. The courtyard garden follows a typical Mughal design and is beautifully kept by the lady gardeners. It's a very impressive palace and well worth visiting if you ever come to Jaipur. I wasn't so impressed with the toilets though. Only joking, these are the originals. You may have seen the BBC TV series The Real Marigold Hotel, in which a group of celebrities are brought together in India to see if they would consider retiring there. We visited the house where they stayed in the first series, which is right in the centre of Jaipur. It's called Katu Haveli. The owner of Katu Haveli is a retired brigadier in the Indian Army and is the grandson of the man who built the property. He gave us a talk about its history and of the filming of the TV series. Like most properties here, it has a flat roof, and we enjoyed gin and tonics and nibbles while watching the kite flying. I took some photos as the sun went down. It was only later, when I was scrolling through the photos, that I saw that I was photobombed by a cat. The evening that we visited Katu Haveli was the start of the Holi festival, which celebrates the arrival of spring and the triumph of good over evil. It's also known as the Festival of Colours, and people throw coloured dye over themselves and anybody else within range. It's quite a spectacle. They also light bonfires, and that's where the brushwood that we saw for sale in the streets earlier on in this vid comes in. There were piles of brushwood in almost every side street in Jaipur as far as I could see, and I was imagining the whole city going up in flames. But next morning all was calm and I didn't see any buildings burnt down. It was time for us to leave Jaipur and drive back to Delhi and fly back home. The roads were very quiet as people continued to celebrate Holi, visiting friends and family, and generally enjoying themselves. And that was the end of our experience in India's Golden Triangle. I hope you've enjoyed this series of videos. If you have, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Namaste.